$7.9 billion. That is the colossal figure at the center of a legal battle that threatens to unravel the very fabric of Sony Interactive Entertainment's digital empire. It's a number that could fundamentally redefine how every single one of us buys and plays games. Today, we are connecting the dots on three critical developments that paint a comprehensive picture of PlayStation's strategy in the year 2024. First, we will dissect the massive class action lawsuit that accuses Sony of operating a digital monopoly and systematically overcharging its customers. Then, we will venture into the world of hardware speculation to analyze the persistent and increasingly credible rumors of a new, powerful PlayStation portable console. And finally, we will examine a seemingly innocuous software release, a new parental control application, to understand how it serves as a critical tool in this grand strategy of ecosystem control. Let's begin the analysis. Our first case file today concerns the legal gauntlet thrown down at Sony Interactive Entertainment's feet in the United Kingdom. This is not a minor dispute. It is a class action lawsuit filed on behalf of nearly 9 million consumers, alleging that the company has abused its dominant market position for nearly a decade. The core of the accusation is simple yet profound. By enforcing a strict monopoly on the sale of digital games and downloadable content through its PlayStation Store, Sony Interactive Entertainment has been able to impose an unfair 30% commission on every single transaction. The claimants argue that this practice effectively stifles competition and inflates prices for consumers who have no alternative marketplace to turn to on the PlayStation platform. To understand the gravity of this, we must look at the financial and strategic underpinnings of the modern console business. For decades, the model was straightforward: sell the console hardware at a loss or at a very thin margin and recoup those losses through the sale of software. In the era of physical media, this meant sharing revenue with developers, publishers, and, crucially, retailers. However, the industry-wide pivot to digital distribution has radically altered this equation. Sony Interactive Entertainment, like its competitors, has constructed what is commonly referred to as a walled garden. Within this digital ecosystem, the platform holder is the sole gatekeeper. They control which games are sold, they dictate the terms of sale, and they operate the only authorized payment processor. The 30% commission has become the industry standard, a figure famously challenged by Epic Games in its landmark legal fight against Apple Incorporated. This lawsuit against Sony mirrors that conflict, arguing that the PlayStation console is a distinct market, and Sony's total control over it is anti-competitive. The potential repercussions are immense. If the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal rules in favor of the claimants, Sony could be forced to pay out billions in damages. But the financial penalty, however staggering, pales in comparison to the potential strategic fallout. A ruling against Sony could set a precedent that compels them to allow third-party storefronts on the PlayStation platform, effectively demolishing the walls of their garden. This would introduce price competition and shatter the business model that has made the PlayStation division so incredibly profitable over the last console generation. We are not just talking about lost revenue from a commission fee. We're talking about a fundamental loss of control over their entire platform, which is the company's most valuable asset. So this legal challenge isn't just about pricing. It's an existential threat to the strategic foundation upon which the modern console industry is built. What are your thoughts on the 30% platform fee? Is it a fair price for the service, curation, and security provided? Or is it an anti-consumer tax in a market devoid of competition? Share your perspective in the comments below. And if this kind of market analysis is what you're here for, a like on the video truly helps support the channel. But as Sony Interactive Entertainment deploys its legal teams to defend its current kingdom in the courtroom, whispers from its supply chain and development labs suggest it is already planning to conquer new territories. This brings us to our second case file, the tantalizing and increasingly concrete possibility of a new, true PlayStation Portable device. It is critical to immediately differentiate this rumored hardware from the recently released PlayStation Portal. The Portal is a streaming device, an accessory wholly dependent on a PlayStation 5 console and a robust Wi-Fi connection. The hardware we are discussing today is a standalone, dedicated handheld console, a spiritual successor to the PlayStation Portal and the PlayStation Vita. According to multiple sources and insider reports, Sony is actively developing a new handheld powered by a custom Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, accelerated processing unit. The primary strategic goal of this device appears to be native backward compatibility, specifically with the massive library of PlayStation 4 titles. Some speculation even points towards the ability to run less demanding PlayStation 5 games that receive a specific patch from developers. From a technical standpoint, this makes perfect sense. The system architecture of the PlayStation 4 is well understood, and creating a modern, power-efficient APU capable of running those games natively is entirely feasible in 2024, as demonstrated by the success of devices like Valve Corporation's Steam Deck. The strategic implications, however, are far more complex. Why would Sony re-enter the handheld market after the commercial failure of the PlayStation Vita? The answer lies in the dramatic shift in the market landscape. The unprecedented success of the Nintendo Switch, which has sold over 140 million units, has proven beyond any doubt that a massive, dedicated market for high-quality portable gaming exists. Furthermore, the rise of the PC handheld space, pioneered by the Steam Deck, has shown an appetite among core gamers for a premium, on-the-go experience. Sony Interactive Entertainment is looking at a multi-billion-dollar market segment where it currently has no true competitor. Historically, Sony has learned harsh lessons from the Vita's failure, which was plagued by prohibitively expensive proprietary memory cards and a lack of sustained first-party software support. A new device would almost certainly use standard storage solutions and would launch with a clear strategy to leverage the existing PlayStation 4 library of thousands of games as its primary selling point. This new handheld would not just be a piece of hardware, it would be a new gateway into the PlayStation ecosystem. Every game sold for it would be sold through the PlayStation Store, subject to that same 30% commission that is currently being challenged in court. It represents a strategic diversification of their hardware portfolio and a way to deepen user engagement, keeping players locked within their ecosystem, whether they are in their living room or on the move. Therefore, a new PlayStation Portable is not a nostalgic throwback. It's a calculated offensive maneuver to expand the very walled pardon that is under legal siege, creating a new, highly controlled revenue stream that is vital for the company's long-term growth. Expanding the ecosystem with new hardware is a forward-looking strategy, but managing the user base within that ecosystem is an immediate, daily priority. And that is precisely where Sony Interactive Entertainment's latest software launch, the new PlayStation Family smartphone app, enters our analysis. On the surface, this application, available for both Apple iOS and Google Android, is a welcome and consumer-friendly tool for parents. As detailed by Sony's own announcement, its purpose is to help parents manage their children's gaming experience. It offers a suite of features that are, quite transparently, inspired by Nintendo's highly successful parental controls application. These features include guided onboarding for new family accounts, real-time notifications about gaming activity, detailed activity reports, and, most importantly, the ability to manage playtime and control spending. Parents can set daily time limits, create schedules for gaming, and even approve or deny requests for extra playtime directly from their phone. They can also set monthly spending limits for the PlayStation Store and receive alerts when their child makes a purchase. The application's marketing Featuring games like the family-friendly Astrobot alongside the more mature Helldivers 2 perfectly illustrates its intended use case, giving parents granular control over what their children play and how much they spend. However, from an analytical perspective, this app is far more than just a tool for responsible parenting. It is a sophisticated mechanism for reinforcing the foundational principles of the walled garden. Every single feature is designed to operate exclusively within the confines of the PlayStation ecosystem. The playtime management tools ensure that a child's gaming hours are spent on a PlayStation console. The content filters guide children towards age-appropriate content available for purchase on the PlayStation Store. Most critically, the spending management features normalize the PlayStation Store as the sole point of commerce. By allowing parents to allocate a digital allowance directly to a child's account, Sony Interactive Entertainment is embedding its digital marketplace into the very fabric of family finances. This process onboards the next generation of gamers, training them from a young age to view the PlayStation Store not as one option among many, but as the only legitimate source for digital content. It is a brilliant piece of strategic software design. It addresses a genuine and pressing need for parents in a digital world, earning goodwill, while simultaneously tightening its control over the user base and securing future revenue. The PlayStation Family app is not a peripheral utility. It is a core component of Sony's long-term strategy to cultivate and maintain a captive audience whose every interaction and every transaction occurs within its domain. When we step back and view these three developments together, a multi-billion-dollar legal battle to protect the digital store, persistent rumors of new hardware designed to expand its reach, and a new software application built to manage users within it, a remarkably clear and cohesive picture of corporate strategy emerges. Sony Interactive Entertainment is currently engaged in a multi-front campaign to defend, expand, and solidify its digital empire. The lawsuit represents the primary external threat, a challenge from consumers and regulators to the very business model that guarantees its profitability. The rumored handheld represents the primary offensive strategy, an ambitious plan to capture new market territory and funnel more users into its ecosystem. And the new family management app represents the crucial internal strategy, a tool for deepening control, cultivating loyalty, and normalizing commercial behavior within the existing user base. Every single move, whether it's happening in a courtroom in London, a research and development lab in Tokyo, or on the app stores of Apple and Google, is fundamentally about one thing: maintaining and growing absolute control over the PlayStation ecosystem. The era of simply selling consoles to profit from game sales is long over. We are now deeply in the era of total ecosystem management. The ultimate question for us, as players and consumers, is how much convenience we are willing to trade for that control. If you want to continue making sense of these industry-wide shifts and stay ahead of the curve, make sure you are subscribed to the channel for future analysis.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.